Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of our Football Focus SG podcast with myself, Faiz. And also, we have the returning special guest of ours, Mr. JB. And also, welcome back to our guest that missed out in the previous episode, Harun Nafi. How are you guys doing?
Good. We're good.
Yeah. Mr. JB, how are you doing over there?
Yeah, it's all good. Great to be here again. Thank you for having me.
All right. First of all, before I start the episode, I do want to say thank you guys so much for the views, the support for this channel, for the subscribe, comments, likes, everything. Thank you so much. Hope you guys do stay tuned for more. Also, to promote a little bit on Harun Aziz's side, he's also making G Football. Also follow as well on his Instagram. Do check it out. So, guys, we've been having a lot of football, especially with Euros lately. So is match day 2 complete already? So how do you guys feel about the match day 2? How do you guys feel about the Euros? Harun Nazri, let's start with you first since we never get to catch up on the Euros yet. So how do you feel about the Euro tournament so far?
Okay, I think for myself, in particular Euros, I've been a little bit busy, so I haven't been able to watch a lot of matches.
Yeah.
But for the matches that I do manage to watch, I think the standout team so far has got to be Italy. I think they're the standout team so far this campaign. I read some stats. I think they've gone 29 games unbeaten since Mancini took over.
Since 2018.
Yeah. So I think just from a general standpoint, I think Italy is the team to beat for now, maybe. Yep.
Yeah, all right. Now, Mr. JB, how do you feel after our last episode? You predicted Germany to win France. Germany did not win France. However, they did win Portugal as per recording now. How do you feel about the match day 2 so far for the Euros for you?
Yeah, I guess I should probably apologize for my bad prediction on the France and Germany. But again, I think Germany did very, very well in the second game. I think the first game is more of a trial run. I think they need some warm-up matches, and they've proven themselves in the second game. I agree with Harun Nazri over there on the part where I think Italy is the one that might be the one going it because they've scored 6 goals. Haven't conceded any. They look good. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely look much more convincing, more dominating, I would say. With back-to-backs, 3-0 wins, it's definitely they are the dark horse for the whole race. So moving on, basically we also come across Singapore matches. We do like to share a little bit with Harun Nazri that I did saw your Instagram on G Football, Harun Nazri. You're very passionate about Singapore's performances over the 3 games. Now, from the first episode that we talk about over how the potentials, the lineups, having a coach like Tatsuma, who is a credible coach in Asia, and for us to come out as just losing back to back of 4-0, 5-0, 3-0. Share with us a bit of your thought because I know you did share already in G Football, which you guys do check it out, but do give us a brief over how you feel about Singapore performance and what's next. What's next for Singapore football?
Okay, I think to sum it all out, I think it was a disappointing campaign in Saudi Arabia for our national team. And I think in the first episode, I predicted 7 points out of 9.
Very optimistic.
I was, right? That was very optimistic. But that only shows how much belief I had in the boys. But disappointing campaign. I think both players and coaching staff have to look at themselves and question themselves why it was what it was, the results and whatnot. Because I think maybe preparation wasn't that well with the SPL ongoing, and then the preparation time for the Lions wasn't that ideal. But then I don't think we should take that as an excuse or use that as an excuse, because whatever the Lions face, other countries also face the same issues. But it left sour taste in the mouth, I think for the national team. I think a lot could have been better. I think right from the get-go, I think it could have been much better from the performance standpoint, from players giving their best 100%. Of course, coming into the third match, we saw potentially what could have been right from the start, but it was too little, too late. Yeah. So moving forward, I think we should regroup. I'm actually waiting for us to reach the end of the SPL season, and then for the FA and the people in charge of the Singapore Premier League to come and sit down together, discuss what's best for the league and what's best for Singapore football moving forward with the under 22 ruling, with players not getting match time and all that. I think as a community as a whole, people should come together and discuss what's best for Singapore football. And then with the impending JDT, with TMJ's announcement of maybe putting his JDT 3 team in the SPL, I think everyone should just come down together, decide what's best for Singapore football. And at the same time, I don't think we should shun away teams who wants to develop their players in our country. But I think, of course, utmost priority has to be given to our boys first, our Singaporeans first, our local players first. And then we see how we can benefit the rest as well for Southeast Asian football. So a lot to be desired, but I'm fully confident that we can do it, man. Fingers crossed. I'm very optimistic again.
All right. I mean, I'm glad to see that, you actually get to take some time to gather some thoughts, because I saw you were very devastated by the performance. But nonetheless, of course, we do support our own boys. We try our best to push them on. But I do want to highlight a little bit based on previous episode of what Mr. JB has said as well. He believes that confidence is the major key to the part of those 3 matches that we took and we lost. So, Mr. JB, can you clarify with us, after hearing what Harunazi said, do you actually feel that, is it still confidence a key, or is it just more of everyone just have to kind of galvanize again and everyone just got to regroup and start from scratch and see what we can do from there? Mr. JB, what do you think?
Well, I agree with what Harunazi had to say there. Yes, there's a lot of things that can be improved technically. A lot of things can be worked on the pitch, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think confidence is something that is that comes within yourself. I don't think any amount of training will help you with your confidence, because looking at the past 3 games that I mentioned previously in the last episode, also, it seems like the Lions kind of feel very let down and lack of confidence when they concede the first goal. And only when that happens, then the floodgate starts opening up, and that's when the goal starts coming in. So, I really feel that confidence is key, and on top of what Arunazu shared.
Okay. I think basically also you did mention that we do miss a lot of key players in key areas, like Iksan Fandi up front, Haris Harun in the midfield, Safan Barudin at the back, were all missed out during the qualifying match. But speaking about like what Harunazi said earlier, that we do have a lot of potential in the youths. And I believe if you were to look back at Singapore under-22 friendly matches, the under-22 actually won all 3 matches against Albirex, Tampines Rovers, and Lion City Sailors. Now, of course, all those 3 clubs may play their reserves and etc. But would you consider this winning 4-2 in Albirex and Lion City Sailors, 1-0 over Tampines Rovers? Do you feel that the under-22 actually really rising up to the occasion, and we should look more into them rather than the veterans of what we have now?
I think for me personally, with the under-22s, I think looking at the SPL, okay, I think teams are forced into putting players who are younger, right? And of course, there's a debate about are these players of the quality to be placed in such high-profile matches and to be placed in the first 11. But I also strongly believe that these teams have coaches, and it's up to the coaches to decide who they should field these under-23 players. If they think that the players that they are fielding is not good enough, then it's on them. It's not on the players themselves. If, as a coach, if I know that this player is not ready and he's under-23, if I think this player is not ready, why should I put him in the field and make him suffer?
Yeah.
And then only to take him out at halftime. Why would I want to do that? I want to have the best under-23 player that will benefit my team.
Yeah.
Right? I think so. For some to say that Are these players ready at the top level to play? If they are not ready, then why would the coaches put them out to play?
Okay, but
Right?
as a
But
coach's
of
point
course,
of view, like how can you tell whether they're ready? Since you're the one may
okay.
have a bit of coaching experience, share with us a bit. Like how do you tell whether they're ready or not for the occasion?
All right. From my standpoint, again, this is my own personal opinion. This is my own views. How would I tell if a player is ready or not? Number one, friendly matches help. Okay, before the start of the season, when we play friendly matches among all the other clubs, we put them into the match. We try. We see. Let's see how they adapt. Let's see how they play. I always strongly believe there's a saying when I was playing back then, my former coach, he always used to say to calm your nerves in matches, play the first pass correctly. If you play your first pass correctly, you will calm yourself down and everything will be okay. But if your first pass is terrible, it will go downhill. So I feel with how to know if the players are ready, there's a lot of aspect to it. Number one, whether he understands the style of play that the coach wants. Number two, whether he's technically proficient. Number three, does he understand the tactical concept of the team and the coach? Number four, is he able to live with the fact that he's a youngster playing amongst bigger players, bigger boys or older players? Can he adapt to that? Is he quick enough? Decision making? Is he okay when he gets tackled? Is he phased or is he unfazed? There's a lot of things that we can look at. Whether he is, you say example, if he makes a mistake, does he shy away or does he stand up and then he try to push forward again?
Yeah.
All these things, the mental, I strongly believe, like Mr. JB mentioned earlier with regards to the Lions about confidence. I agree with that, but I also believe in football, I wouldn't want to put a number to it, but I believe the mental aspect of the game is something that we have to look at as well. You see, I quote an example, the Vietnamese coach, Park Hang-seo, I believe his name,
Yeah.
to prepare his players for big matches or to prepare his players against Malaysia, I believe, 2 years ago or 1 year back, something like that. He prepared his players during training in a stadium and he blasted the sounds of what Malaysian fans would be like. He played a recording of what the Malaysian crowd would be like.
Wow.
And that gives a feel. Of course, the players can't see the fans, the players can't see people, but they can hear.
Yeah.
So all this is to acclimatize the players into the surroundings. Whether we have that in Singapore or not, I'm not too sure, but I strongly believe mentally the players have to be strong. If we go back to the point of, I've listed a few points on how we want to know if the players are ready or not. You won't know until you put the player into the field and play. If you say he's not ready, but you're not giving him a chance, how will you know? Give him a match. If he stands out, let him play again the next one. If you play a match, he doesn't make it, maybe it's not his day. Give him another chance again. Second match, he's still not the same. He's not what you expect him to be. Give him another match or rest him on the bench. Let him come on as a super sub, something like that. But with youngsters, I strongly believe that you have to give them a chance. If you don't give them a chance, how will we know whether we can unleash their potential or not? Yeah.
All right. Mr. JB, would you agree with the statement over what Harunazwi have mentioned earlier that we should actually give a little bit more chance to the youths, and basically you like for your standpoint of view, Mr. JB, you're considered as a fan perspective.
Yeah.
How would you see how the young Lions, basically the younger players, whether they are ready to step up to the occasion to take players such as, when if Haris Harun is injured, who's going to replace? Safan injured, who's going to replace? Iksan Fandi, well, I know he's young, and technically to replace him, we're not going to find someone young, but do we look into these areas? Or do we just going to try and rely on veteran experience in the Singapore Premier League to step up to the occasion?
I think Arunazvi sums it up pretty well. At the end of the day, ready or not, you can only put them inside the pitch to see, whether they are 100% ready or not. So I believe, as far as a fan is concerned, right, I think the coaches are the one who's supposed to prepare these players to be game ready mentally, physically for the test, per se, the match, for example. And yeah, hearing what Arunazri shared about our neighbors, Malaysian football and everything, going through all these efforts, I think I'm not sure whether we are doing it as well. But yes, I think these are some of the initiatives that we need to look at, and hopefully our youths are able to take advantage of it and learn from it and grow. But for me, I feel personally, just to sidetrack a bit, I think picking captaincy, like the leader, in the team is as important as letting the youth, because as the captain, you're supposed to steer the ship. You're supposed to steer the team. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from a fan standpoint, that's what I look at. So if Haris are missing, and if you look at the last 3 games, it was Yasir Hanafi was our captain. I'm not too sure if both of you actually agree that Yasir Hanafi is okay as a captain, or perhaps you guys have any other
I would
players
say he's
that you
probably
guys
the
think
most
will be
veteran,
captain?
maybe. Probably because he's the most senior cap there compared to the rest. I
Yeah,
might be
I
wrong
guess
as well,
I
but I
guess
mean Bayhaki is the most senior cap, I would say, in that squad now. But
yeah, of course. I
it
mean,
is
in terms of
surprising to put
seniority,
Yase as a
yeah,
captain, but he did play as a captain in Tampines Rovers as well, so might
that's
be
right.
that as
That's
well.
right. Yeah. Yeah, so you see, that's just my standpoint. I'm not sure if Harun Nazri Hanafi may want to say something on the captaincy, and who does he think
Yeah.
probably deserve that the armband. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Harun Nazrin, like what do you think? Like captaincy, yes, we all know it's important. We all know it's a very vital part to to change a game. Be whether you're winning or you're losing, the captain must be one up than everyone else. So
Yeah.
basically, before that we have Haris Harun as our usual captain. We have Safwan who has played the role of vice captain and sometimes captain as well. But in this kind of scenario, or in this kind of situation, when we have key players being out, who do you look for? Do you look for those hungry leadership players, or do you look for those players who actually has been around for years, like example by Haki example?
All right. So if it's entirely if it's entirely down to me, again, these are my own views.
Yeah.
Number one, I will look at experience. Of course, plays a point. Not experience doesn't play a huge role, I feel, because there are other factors that also contribute to my choice.
Yeah.
My choice, number one, most importantly, is that player has to be informed. He has to be informed. Yeah, that's number one. Number two, of course, I don't see how the players are training at their training ground. I'm an outsider. But number two, I will take a look at how the player, how the other players, whether the other players are looking up to one particular person, or say, example, if I have player A and when player A speaks, what is the reaction among the rest of the players towards player A? If the reaction is positive and if player A can generate the leadership qualities, show the leadership qualities, and it rubs off the rest, then that's a good sign as well.
Yeah.
And then also, as a coach, the team captain for me, as a coach, the team captain for me is my coach on the football field. Okay, so say example, it's up to me. Of course, sometimes we get educated.
Basically, your
sometimes
philosophy, kind of.
Yeah, I won't say philosophy as a whole, but he's my conductor in the field. I'm not saying he's the general in the field. I look at the likes of Roy Keane.
Yeah.
If you take a look at Roy Keane, even though Roy Keane and Sir Alex Ferguson have their issues, but more or less, if you take a look at their characteristics, it's more or less the same. They are both fiery, they are both winners, they want to win. It's the same. So my captain is in a way a mirror image of me on the field. If I'm a fighter, I would want a fighter to lead my team because I want a team full of fighters to go out and fight and lead my country.
Yeah.
So if and I think I shared this with you guys too. My choice for the captaincy for the 3 matches, if it's entirely down to me, I would have given my choice to Shake because he's been playing well over 3 years. I think he has been playing well.
Yeah,
He's
Shaki
been
has been
playing
very
well.
consistent, I would say.
He has been playing well at then Home United, I believe Lions 12 or Home United, and then he played well at Kedah for 2 seasons. And he was having a good season at Perak before his transfer to Lion City Sailors. And I believe if you take a look at the first match, it was not bad. He was the one who was, I don't know whether he's vocal enough or not, but based on, he has an experience. He has been around for quite some time. He has won, I believe, I don't know whether he was in the Lions 12 squad or not that won the Super League in Malaysia, but
Did he play there? I'm not sure the year,
Yeah, but he has the experience and he's playing overseas among big players. So, and if he can command such a respect for the teams in Kedah and Perak, what makes you think that he won't command the respect of his players in the Singapore national side? Unless we have a bunch of egoistical players that only think about themselves, which I don't think we have as a country or as a national team group, right? But yeah, my choice of captain is someone that mirrors my image on the field. If I'm a fighter, I need a fighter on the field to rally my troops and towards victory. Yeah.
All right. Okay. That's a very insightful. Thank you guys again for the insightful
Yeah.
and all. Yeah. So you did mention one thing I noticed that both of you mentioned is about the neighboring countries about how they do. Now I'm sure I think maybe you guys may see now that Vietnam is through to the next round with very convincingly they did being on top. So Mr. JB, we never really get to ask you about our neighboring countries so far. How do you feel? How far are we as a Singapore football to our neighboring countries such as Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and etc.?
Well, I must say, as a fan standpoint, it's quite sad looking at it, especially 2021.
Yeah,
Our country basically has one of the most decorated footballing history, I believe.
in the Southeast
We have
Asia region. Yeah,
produced, yeah, definitely. Just if you're talking about the Nusantara area or Southeast Asian area, football wise, I think we definitely have the most, one of the most decorated history of football. You
Yeah.
know, and our nation loves football. So to see the rest of the Southeast Asian countries actually doing quite well and improving themselves, okay, it's both bittersweet, lah. Of course, as a Singaporean and someone who supports your country, you will have that envy, which is healthy, of course, because you need that sense of competition.
yeah,
But at the same time, I'm also proud of countries like Vietnam, uh, who is really proving themselves slowly, coming into a very very solid team play, very very coordinate style of play, and they also play with a game plan, with an end in mind. And yeah, I mean, the more surprising one is Thailand. Apparently Thailand seems to tends to be a bit shaky here and there. I mean, it happens in football, after
yeah.
after a certain period,
It was a
just
surprise
to
loss they had
give
as well
another.
against Malaysia, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. And just to give another example, just to pull back a little bit of the ongoing Euro right now, just take a look at Spain, right? I
Right?
mean, when you look at Spain in their golden era, where you're Xavi and all that, Alonso, Iniesta, all those gangs, right? That was their golden generation, and then now I think you see they are rebuilding again, So teams, there is up and downs, here and there, which is expected. But for I believe for our country, I think we have the players. Quite frankly, I mean, if I look on paper right now, like what Arun Hanafi mentioned, right, we have the players. Players like Shaki, all these players are really, they can play. No problem. So I'm not sure if it's the system is the problem or is there some other problems underlying. But yes, our group is a tough one. We have to acknowledge that.
Yep.
Our countrymen did their best. Okay, it's not easy because I believe previously we have the home advantage over here. Yes, it's artificial turf. People can talk about it. That's a separate discussion. But home advantage is home advantage, right? So yeah, so I believe the boys, credit to them despite the performances that I mentioned in the last episode. I think they did their best. They did try to up the ante, and I feel that perhaps Singapore would fare better if we are in the Malaysian group. I think where majority are just Southeast Asian, and there's Indonesia, Malaysia, and all those. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. And also just to touch on a little bit on Harun Nazir's point on Shaki Hamza, it's quite interesting to see because yes, as much as I see him as a leader and everything like that, I'm not sure whether he's past. I mean, we understand some players have some issues, have some problems, with the law, with everything else. Sometimes picking a leader is never easy. They sometimes have like Shaki Hamza, you probably have some disciplinary issues, which is quite well known back then.
So
So I'm not
basically,
sure how much.
in another way, finding a
Yeah,
captain is not just being a leadership on the field; it's a
that's
leadership
right.
off the
That's
field
right.
as well.
That's right. But at the same time, I kind of agree with Ivan Nasri, the fact that if he has leadership qualities now, give him the armband. Give him the armband. It's okay what he did in the past, or any players did in the past. It doesn't matter, right? I
Yep.
mean, just take a look at Sergio Ramos. I mean, for example, right? He's ruthless on the ball. His tackles can get wild, but I mean, come on. I believe he is like the captain for Real Madrid. I think for a period or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. So for me, players change and players evolve. So give him the armband if it needs be. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Thank you, guys. Sticking on with the locals, but moving away a little bit from the national team. We all did mention about Yasir Napi being the captain for Tampines, and I would say it's a nice segue for me because the AFC Champions League for the club came out for the group draw, and Tampines Rovers will be making their first ever debut for the AFC Champions League. And I'm not sure whether you guys seen the groups, but I will share with you guys. Tampines Rovers is currently together with Jeonbuk Hyundai Motor, the Korea FA Cup winner, the J League runner-up winner, Gamba Osaka, and basically last season's third place in Thai Super League, which is Chiang Rai United. Now, Harun Nazri Hanafi, you have played for Tampines for so long. You have been a boyhood fan, a player, a coach, everything through Tampines. This is Tampines' first ever debut season in Champions League. What are the chances and the odds you feel for Tampines in this group?
Okay. This is listen. This is the AFC Champions League. This is the biggest. This is as big as it gets for Asian football.
For Asian,
And to have a representative from Singapore playing in the Asian Champions League, it's a huge honor. It's a big honor. I think the last time there was a team that played was back then it was SAFFC, now known as Warriors FC, who is now closed down. Yeah. So and I think during SAFFC's campaign, they had 1 point out of the group matches, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, right? So this is the biggest stage of them all. We are playing against top teams. Yeah, but again, it's football. So the ball is round. Sometimes things can go for you. Sometimes things can go against you.
Yeah.
To rate their chances, look, we have to be humble enough to understand that we are from Singapore. We are not as strong of a footballing country as South Korea, as Japan, and as Thailand. The closest maybe is to Thailand, but no, we have to be real and we have to be humble. I'm not to say that I'm not expecting much is sad for me because
we
we are
do want them to
Singaporean and
achieve.
we want them to do well. We wanted them to do well. Let me be optimistic. They're gonna play how many matches in the group stage? 3 matches or 6 matches?
I believe it should be only 3 for now until the
3 matches.
Notice. Yeah.
Okay, whatever it is, I'll be I don't want to offer prediction, but I'll just say it as such. I want them to try. I think they can get at least 3 points. It may be draws. I think maybe draws all the way. I don't know. Maybe they can even get a win, 1 win, and then lose everything, and then no draws at all. But 3 points. I say that if they get 3 points, or if just to me as a Singaporean, I just want them to fly our flag high just by giving their best. That's all. Show your best, run for the ball, defend as hard as you can, do all that you can to protect your goal, be adventurous when you have the ball, go on the counter or whatnot. Yep. Sit deep. I won't say sit too deep. Sit back, try to soak whatever it is, and then just go and attack, man. Yeah. But fight for your life. Let's just put it like that. I'll say just fight for your life. Yeah.
All right. Mr. JV, what do you think about Tampines Rovers' chances in the AFC Champions League? So, like what I think Harun, as you said, this is our first ever, Tampines' first ever debut in the Champions League. So I would say it is somewhat equivalent, our team, Tampines Rovers, to North Macedonia debuting in Euros. That's pretty much how it is in Asia, sadly. But what do you think about Tampines Rovers' chances over this group?
Chances. Wow. Okay. I mean, okay. I actually just checked. I think they're gonna play like 6 games
6 games.
instead of
Yeah.
3.
All right.
Yes. So wow. I mean, 6 games. 6 games is
So which means there
is
will be
huge.
a home
So,
advantage for us. There will be home advantage in the Tampines Hub.
well.
There's
no. Yeah, they'll
there's
be
no home
playing.
advantage.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. If I'm not wrong, they're playing in Uzbekistan, right? If I'm not wrong.
okay. Yeah.
They're,
At
they're
the
playing
Tashkent,
all their 6.
Uzbekistan. Yeah. All this is
Yeah,
at
Yeah,
they're playing all their 6 matches in Taction. So I believe they're gonna play
Yep.
matches every 2, 3, or 4 days, if I'm not wrong.
yeah.
It's very
Wow. I
taxing,
mean,
very
it's
taxing.
it's going to
Yeah.
be pretty taxing for the boys, but yes, as what Naji and Nafi mentioned, it's a proud moment to see our homegrown club, which is close to home, to be representing in one of the biggest stage, in Asian football. So yes, please rally behind the team. Of course, we need to manage expectation. Yes, the names are big, the names are huge on paper, but like what Harun Nazir and Nafi mentioned, the ball's round, football's football. If our boys, give 110%, the other team tends to slack. I believe we should be able to steal some points. Probably not 3 points. And I'm the kind of fan where when push comes to shove, I don't mind an ugly win. I'll take 1-0 win. I don't care. If
Yep.
it's ugly, it's ugly. Just do it. If the game finished with 9 men but you win 1-0, just do it. I'll take it. 3 points, no problem. But yes, like what Nazir Hanafi mentioned, spot on there. Represent the nation well. Give your all. Enjoy the experience. Not everyone get this chance. So yeah, just relish the moment and do what you gotta do. This is your job. This is your career. At the same time, have fun. And yes, I'm not sure if the TV will be showing this, but yes, let's hope we get to witness some of these matches and rally behind the boys.
Yeah. All right. All the best as well to the Tampines Rovers. If there's happen to be anyone's watching this or supporting them, all the best to them. We're gonna move on a little bit back to the Euros again. I know we've been talking about Euros pretty much all month or all week long since this is their tournament. On the previous episode, I did manage to discuss a little bit with Mr. JB regarding about pretty much a situation that nobody wants to see or heard, but we never get to hear from you, Harun Azri, and that is what happened in the first match of Group B between Denmark and Finland, in the 41st minute, where Christian Eriksen had suffered a heart attack and collapsed, and whatever that happened after that. Of course, now we are glad that he's fine. This is pretty much been more than a week now after the incident. But we do want to know your thoughts, Harun Azri, because we never get to share. You never get to share yet. Share with us your experience when you see that live. What was going through your mind? How do you feel? And then what happens after that was after the match abandoned, UEFA come out with a statement that both players are ready to play. Do you feel that is right or wrong? Mr. JB did share a little bit, so you guys can have a little bit of debate again if you guys disagree. But Harun Azri, share with us with Christian Eriksen moment.
Yeah, so I was. This is one of those rare matches that I actually stayed up to watch and didn't fall asleep. I don't know why. Maybe it was a calling for me to see such an event. But yeah, when it happened, I still remember. When it happened, my mouth just started to say, "Oh no, oh no!" I just keep on repeating, "Oh no, oh no, oh no!" And I was watching the match live alone. My wife was sleeping in the bedroom. My son, my baby, 1 month old baby, was sleeping beside me. But I forget about all those things, and I was just talking to myself. I was just saying, this should not be happening in football. This should not be happening in football because we all assume that football players are we are one of the fittest people in the world. We're athletes, right?
Yeah.
But I think it hit me when we saw live that he was given CPR.
Yeah.
I think it hit me real hard when I saw that he was given CPR. I think that hit me hard because I was saying, "Oh my goodness, this if it has led to CPR means damn, that's really serious, man. That's, that means he's gone. And of course, I study sports. I've been in the industry for a very long time. Uh, I know, man, when I see things, if you're,
Have you
if you have time,
experienced this kind of similar situation?
I thank God I've never had that. I have never experienced that live.
Yeah.
But to see that on TV, and man, this is live on TV, and we have millions of people watching around the world, not just in Singapore, around the world.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people to witness him being given CPR, oh my goodness, my heart sank. And there was a moment when I don't want to go into graphics, but I think there was a moment when I glanced, when he was being given CPR, I looked away, and then when I glanced up on the TV, I think he had a little bit of fits when they were giving him the CPR, and then it hit me hard again. I was praying, and then I started praying, no, 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 please don't let him go. We're Muslims. When it comes to all this, race, religion, put away. We just want the best for the player. We just want to wish him well. We just want him to get up. At that moment, I just tell myself, in my head, he's gone, man.
Yeah.
In my head, he's gone. There's no way he's going to survive that. But when I think one of our cousin himself, when one of our friend himself sent a photo that he was stretched off and he was up, wow, that was,
Relief. A very huge
relief, man, relief, because when that happened, it bring back memories of Mark Vivian Foe,
Yeah.
and then it bring back memories of my late coach, who was actually playing a charity match when he was 50 plus years old. My very first ever coach in football, the late coach Jack Sivalingam, he collapsed during a match at Khalsa Club, and it brought back all these memories. And I said, of course, we don't know Christian Eriksen personally, but as a football player, as a former player, and as a coach, I feel for him. I feel for his family, because football is like a community among ourselves.
Yeah.
We're close knit like that. And when that happened, we don't want that to happen to anyone. Let alone it happened in front of the eyes of millions of people.
Yeah.
And thank God that he's fine now. I'm very happy that he's fine. I don't know whether he's going to play again in the future, because that is something that he has to discuss with his wife, with his family, with the coaching staff and whatnot, with his agents. But we wish him well. And then to move on to your next question, the match played on after about 2 hours break, I believe, right?
Yeah, about an hour to two that they continue.
Yeah. So my take on this is, look, I understand. Of course, I'm in the technical stuff. I'm in the coaching department. I don't understand whatever the organizers have to deal with, but I also understand, having been around the game, there are a lot of sponsor money involved. There's a lot of TV right money involved, and I think the fact that even being given an option, the three options that was made public by the great goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Of course, who would want to play a match after seeing that kind of situation? I believe no one wants to play a match after that kind of situation.
One, yeah.
But we also, as a former player myself and as a coach, we always believe that the show must go on. I wouldn't want to call it a show, but the game must go on.
It's a job. It's your job, basically.
Yeah. The show must go on. The play must go on. Even though it's hard, you have to go on the field. I feel for the Danish players and I feel for the Finnish players, because they have to go out after seeing their friend nearly die, man.
Yeah.
So it's not ideal. It's not ideal. If it's up to me, if would I want to play the match? No. But I understand why the match has to be played, because of the TV rights. And if they had to reschedule the match to one day later, then it would bring on the issues of whether the players have enough rest leading up to the next match and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I understand that it had to be dealt with like that. It wasn't ideal, but it is what it is, man. Yeah.
All right. So basically, I do have a question for both Mr. JB and Arun Nazri, which I do saw recently. Of course, everyone was talking about Christian Eriksen's incident, and what I saw was there was this segment where David Ginola, I'm sure you guys remember David Ginola.
Yeah.
He came on to the show discussing about it, and he shared his experience that he played a charity match and he got a heart attack. And what he suggests, this is what I feel that I think we should talk about more, is that should player know the basic CPR actions? so that
I think
because time is everything is what they say. Because let's take an example again, Christian Eriksen incident. The captain Simon Kjær of Denmark, he was the first to react, make sure he doesn't swallow his tongue, put him in a recovery position, try to console the team, try to console his wife who is on the pitch. But if the players were not really close around Christian Eriksen at that moment, we could have really, really loosened. Because that's what David Ginola was trying to stress about. That nowadays CPR, they have a defibrillator that is easy to use and etc. But in a football match like this, time is everything. The pitch is huge. You got to bring your staff and medical team there, and times are very precious. So he was suggesting that players should start to learn how to learn basic CPR. So, Mr. JB, I'm going to go to you first for this. What do you think? Is David Ginola right? Should players know more about not only taking care about themselves, but taking care of other players, their teammates or opponent who in this kind of distressing situation?
Yes, I believe it's very spot on. Even though the concept seems very simple, but yes, I feel he's right. Okay, but here's the thing though. You can get the players to go through the CPR and all that, but when it happens right at that point of time, everyone is in a state of shock.
Yeah.
Especially if that person happens to be your close friend, happens to have a connection,
There's a
you
moment
know.
of panic
So
all of a sudden.
exactly, so there's a moment of panic, there's some anxiety here and there. So perhaps the players may not be the right frame of mind to perform the CPR at that point of time. You know what? I'll go on up. I'll go on up. Taking Ginola's suggestion. Why not the referee be equipped with the CPR skills? I feel the referee is technically the first man of contact because they are the ones who stop the game. They are the ones closest to the player who's down and out, all these things. So
Yep.
yes, equip the referee with the skills. Give them the skills. Give them the pocket defibrillator or whatever nearby defibrillator that they have. The referee should be fit enough to do the job. But again, I understand, the physicality nature of the sport. Referee also, as much as we know they're very fit, they're also running up and down the pitch. What if it happens in the 85 minute? The referee is also sweating. He's also in a daze and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yes, it is up for debate. But I feel that for this kind of emergency kind of situation, I think time is key. So as you can see with the Christian Eriksen part, I think kudos to the medical team for doing it right there and there. Yes, the whole world's watching. Yes, nobody wants to see it. I'm quite surprised that the Euro 2020 organizer, the cameras are still turning it on. I think if it's the Premier League, they'll probably start showing the fans and all that, so that people at home won't see it. Yes, of course, all those in the stadium, no choice lah. They have to witness it. But yeah, so finally we get to see the whole thing unfold. But that is kudos to the medical team because in this kind of cardiac arrest kind of situation, time is key. Every second is key. I recall the incident with the Ajax player, the one I forget what's his name. Is it Nuri or something?
Yeah, Nuri.
Yeah, exactly. I read somewhere saying that it was because it happens in the under 23 game, so they actually have to stretch him out before he get the medical attention that he needs. So you see, time is essence. You know what I'm saying, for this kind of thing. We've heard so many cases of okay, why not we just put the player on the stretcher first, bring him in the back, and then we deal with it. It takes only a few minutes for the brain to stop and all these things. So without getting too much into the technicality of terms, and I'm not a health expert. I'm not of any expert. I'm just a fan.
Yeah, but it's a good
So
suggestion.
yes, I agree with Ginola's suggestion, but at the same time, probably it would be good to, instead of putting ball pickers around so much, probably it's okay to just put one doctor in there just watching the whole game, so that I mean, it's very obvious, especially for the Christian Eriksen case. You can see the ball wasn't near him. There's no players around him. He just collapsed. So by right there and there, yes, the referee need to call the stop to the game or whatever. But the doctor should be somewhere near the goalpost or anywhere. I don't care. Should just come in and start intervening because I'm not sure how the usual procedure is. Perhaps Arunazri can share when a player is down and injured. Is it only the registered team medical team can enter the pitch before other external parties involved? I'm not too sure. So perhaps that's something to look at. Yeah.
Yeah. So Harun Nazri, feel free to answer Mr. JB. He did mention about Yeah, it's a good suggestion by David Ginola. But what do you think? Is a medical team? Is it just by your own, or is it should be an official person that
Yeah,
can?
for this kind of instances, or with regards to any injuries, if your player is down, the team's physios will come into the pitch first. If they need assistance, or if the opposing team feels that their opponent needs assistance, then they can come in. But I feel, if I'm not wrong, the two medical staff that attended to Christian was the Danish team doctors, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm
Yeah,
not
because
too
they were
sure, but I
playing
think,
in Danish stadium itself.
yeah. So
In the
so
league.
I think it's the Danish team doctors, if I'm not wrong, that was the one that attended to him.
Yeah.
But yeah. So with regards to Mr. Ginola's suggestion, I completely agree. But again, I also agree with what Mr. JB mentioned, that in that state of shock, would someone be able to execute their stuff that they learn? Because I strongly, if they have not started training players to do CPR, which I think they have, if I'm not wrong. If
Oh,
I'm not wrong,
okay.
then they should start, because as coaches, I know as coaches we are all equipped with first aid training, with CPR training, defib training, and everything. We are equipped with that for coaches. And but this is a little. I want to segue to a little bit of, it may be a touchy subject. I feel we don't have to look at football per se. We can even look at members on the streets. If, say, example, something happened to someone, and if, say, example, someone does have a first aid cert, but he wouldn't want to touch the person that is already on the ground. Why? He don't want to do anything wrong that can add to that person's problem.
Yeah.
He don't wants to. He don't wants to be. He doesn't want to. He or she doesn't want to be the one that takes the blame if anything were to go back to that person. Right? We have to understand that. But of course, for the case of Christian's case, I think it all boils down to the fact that the players were shocked. They were in a state of sadness, and they were in a state of, because dude, we have to understand, this doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
This happens in something like 10 year once, man. And for this to happen, if I think
It's
everyone
just
was in a
feeling
state.
sick to the stomach. That's the kind of feel.
Yeah, I think everyone was shocked. But again, I agree with Mr. Ginola. I think all of us should be, all football players in the world should be trained the basic things when we say someone falling down to the ground, what they should do and all that. Captain of the Danish national team, Simon Kjær, he demonstrated that it looks as if he has learned
Yeah.
what to do and what not. And I think there's nothing wrong with equipping players with such knowledge, extra knowledge, but whether they want to execute it, say something does happen onto the field, that is entirely up to them. We cannot fault a player. We cannot turn it around and say, why didn't the player do anything? Because
Yeah.
he's equipped with all this. Modern
Yeah.
society,
True.
it's nonsense nowadays. So you don't want to turn it around and say, hey, football players are all equipped with this training. Why are they not executing this on their down friend or something like that? So we don't want it to come to that situation. We can train the players, but at the end of the day, it's up to the players whether they want to administer what they have learned or not. We have to give them that option, I think. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Thank you guys again for sharing the pretty much a distressing situation about Christian Eriksen. But then again, Euros has been going on. A lot of interesting results we have seen. But what I'm gonna move on is basically today the players. We're gonna talk a little bit about the transfers that is happening so far around the Europe. All right. Well, of course, I'm gonna focus a little bit on the few top flight transfers. Of course, there will be a lot more, especially after the Euros. But as of now, there are still transfers that are happening. So what I want you guys to do is that I'm gonna uh, ask you guys for your opinion over a player transfer from club A to club B. I want you guys to give me a rating out of 10, 1 to 10. 1 being a bad business for both player and the club. 10 will be good for the player and the club. 5 maybe average of good for the player, bad for the club, or vice versa. So basically, I'm just gonna go through a few names, and then you guys can share me. Tell me what you guys feel about the player. Is it a right move, bad move, and etc. So first one, and this just come out today, literally today that we are recording. I believe it come out last night or earlier today. Memphis Depay has completed the transfer from Lyon to Barcelona. Now, Harun Nazir Hanafi, I'm gonna let you start off first. What do you think about the transfer out of 10? And is it good or bad for the player and the club?
I think it's a 10. I think it's good for
10.
both the club and I think it's good for the player. Why? You know, Memphis was a player for United. I think United made a bad decision to let him go. I think he was, of course, he didn't have the best of seasons at, United during his time. But with players, you know, during that time when he came to United, he was given the number 7 shirt. You know how much of how much of a big stress that can be to a young player.
Yeah.
And he was young, So I think for a young player coming into a club like United, a huge club around the world, that player needs time. And then he was transferred to Lyon. I think he has been at Lyon for 4 or 5 seasons. Correct me if I'm wrong. 3, 4, or 5 seasons around there. Yeah. And he has been the best player for the past 3, 4, 5 seasons. So I feel it's a good step up for Memphis. And I think, will it be good for Barcelona now? They have a front three of Memphis, Aguero, and Messi. It's quite scary, but I think Memphis, I always look at the benefit of the player first before the club. Because I'm a coach and I always look at whether the player can benefit from that move. And I think it will only help Memphis a lot. It will only elevate himself to play alongside the likes of Messi, Busquets, and a legendary club. You know, I think it will only benefit him. So yeah.
Right. Now, Mr. JB, how do you feel? Do you agree with the 10 that Memphis Depay joining Barca?
Yes, definitely I agree. I think when he came to United, it's a bit of a letdown, probably because of the media hype, you know, the number 7 shirt and all these things, with all the spotlight on him and everything else. So it's a shame, really. But I'm glad that he managed to pull up his laces, find a very good footing in Lyon, make a name for himself. I mean, if you ask me, he earns it to go to Barcelona. Definitely a great move for him. For the club, well, I feel a bit mixed bag, We all know how Barcelona treat their players sometimes. So I'm not sure if he will even get game time when you look at the attack in front that they got. They got Messi, Aguero, you have the up and coming Ansu Fati. A lot of these players are all there. So and then I recall there's I think Eric Garcia, I think.
Yep. We're gonna go through all those few players, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure whether will Barcelona really utilize him to, so that he can maximize his true potential again. Not too sure on that, but again, great move for him. And let's hope that Barcelona really knows how to use him and move ahead.
All right. I think for myself, I think I will give a 9 or a 10 as well. I feel that it's a very good signing by Barcelona, but one thing I'm afraid is that, like what Mr. JB said earlier, Barcelona do tend to treat the players not too well. I mean, I'll give a few examples. Ousmane Dembele, yes, we get it. He has been injury back and forth and all that, but given a chance, I think he can excel. I think a lot of people, even I think the recent Thomas Tuchel interview while he was at Chelsea, when they asked who is the most raw talent they have seen, and Thomas Tuchel has seen a lot of players. He's been in PSG with Neymar and Mbappe, but the first name he says is Ousmane Dembele. He said that boy just know how to do. So if only Depay can maybe keep himself fit, he should be good. But of course, his competition will be tight. He does have Griezmann, who is over there as well. Messi, of course, is a question mark. But Ansu Fati, like what you said, up and rising. Pedri, up and rising as well. So there's a lot of competition in the wing. So, of course, being the marquee signing for Barca, he's definitely going to start. He's a good signing for both of them. So now we're going to move on.
And the signing is even for free. Imagine that.
It's a free transfer. It's a free transfer.
Yeah.
So I would say it's a 10. It's a free transfer.
It's a coup. It's a coup for them.
It's a very cool. Yeah. So moving on, like what Harun Aziz said earlier, Sergio Aguero joining Barcelona at the end and coming to his age now. Mr. JB, share with us first. Is Sergio Aguero a good signing for Barcelona, or is he just a sign to, people like to say, keeping Messi to stay at Barcelona?
Yeah, I believe that the Aguero is just to keep Messi in the club. It's one of their desperate moves that they have to do. They're probably paying Aguero X amount of money. just to fill up the space and just probably be Messi's roommate again. Hopefully make him stay so that they can probably play FIFA together, do some
Yeah.
Twitch podcasting together, and just build the Barcelona brand. That's how I see it. Aguero, for me personally, is one of my favorite players. As much as I hate Manchester City, but I have to give credit where it's due. He's a hell of a player. He's almost as good as Thierry Henry was for Arsenal back then during the Arsenal golden period.
Yep.
That's how I view him highly in the Premier League.
Yep.
So it's a shame for the Premier League to lose a player like him. But again, his accomplishments is huge. He have done quite a bit in the Premier League. We don't see that many South American players achieve that kind of stature in the Premier League. So props to him. But yeah, I feel that
What would you
he's
give out
just
of 10?
a
What would you give out
boy.
of 10 for his signing?
Well, I think I'll probably give it a 5. It's an average signing.
An average signing?
Yeah. For me, it's just an average signing for Barca, but it's a good signing for him because I think he can slow things down a bit, take his time,
All right.
and have fun with Messi. So why not?
All right, Mr. Harunazi Anafi, do you agree with 5?
For me, I'll give it a 6. Why? Because I think with no doubt he's going to do well at Barcelona. I think he's going to do well at Barcelona. It's going to benefit him. The game is not as quick and fast as it is in the Premier League, so I think that's going to be beneficial to him. But I don't think Barcelona signed him up just to keep Messi in place. I think they signed him up based on the talent that they saw. But again, it's a little bit contradicting. They let Suarez go only to get in Aguero, who's around the same age, right?
Yeah.
But again, we have to understand this. The letting go of Suarez came from a different ownership to the buying of Aguero, right?
Yep.
It was different owners last time. Why I give it a 6 also, I think Aguero already made a name for himself in the world of football, and I think to cement his own legacy, I would have liked it if he would have gone back to Argentina, played for one of the local clubs there, Boca, Independiente, or something like that.
Yep.
Go there, play for your country, play in your country, generate the hype in your country. And who knows, one day we might see Argentina winning the World Cup just from that particular move, because it's sometimes one signing can elevate the country. So I felt, for me, he's gonna do well at Barcelona, but I feel when it comes to his legacy, I would have advised him, if I was his agent, I would have advised him to go back to Argentina and cement his legacy over there, or he could have made a move back to Atletico, but Suarez is there, so that won't materialize. So if it's me, I would have gone back to Argentina. A 6 for me.
All right. Yeah. I think for me, I'll give a 5 as well. Reason being, not because of yes, I agree with what Harunazi said. It is much more slower pace over there. However, I feel that injury has kind of caught up to him. I feel that when the injury starts coming, he's gonna be more struggling, and I'm afraid that he's gonna be falling out of favor. When you have like Griezmann up top, would you rather play Griezmann or Aguero? It's one of those kind of situations. So I feel like Aguero signing is kind of like more of just in case. It's becoming like a Giroud in Chelsea, those super sub strikers. That's what I feel. I don't think it's gonna be a day in and out striker when they have like the talent of Depay, Konati, and Griezmann up top. But it's a decent signing. It's not the bad signing in the world. I mean, I would say it's better than Martin Braithwaite. What they're signing. That's my thought. I mean, Martin Braithwaite, I don't know how he's still there, but he's still there. All right, so 3 more players for us to cover. And then in the following episode, we can continue with more players. But these next 3 players are also very highly rated and controversial. The one player that's supposed to join Barcelona, make a last-minute U-turn to PSG, and there's Gini Wijnaldum. So Gini Wijnaldum has confirmed with Barcelona before getting swept away by PSG within the 24 hours. My rating for him, I'll give a 7. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. Reason being is that one of them is a quality player. He's shown it in the Premier League. He's showing well right now in Euros. But I feel that with the quality squad of what PSG have, yes, it's an upgrade, but is he a step up to his career? I don't think so. Maybe, I mean, he kind of done it all. He has won the Premier League. He has won the Champions League. Of course, only international wise. Maybe you want to win other leagues, like maybe in French as well. But if you talk about highly competitive league, let's face it, I think La Liga provides a little bit more. But in Liga, in France, sadly, it doesn't seem to reflect that way. So I would say just a 7 out of 10. Harun Nazri, what do you think about Wijnaldum transfer?
Wijnaldum, he caught my eye when he was still playing for Newcastle. You know, when he played for Newcastle, I was telling myself, this guy is
relegated at that point of time.
yeah. For me, when he was playing for Newcastle, I was wow, this guy is someone that we should look up to. And then after Newcastle, where did he go to after Newcastle? I think he went to Liverpool. No, right? He went somewhere else before Liverpool, right? If I'm not wrong.
For you, but just hold on real quick. But I believe I believe he went to he just went straight to Liverpool.
Okay, so
he was in Liverpool for about 5 years now. 4 or 5 years.
So I think for me, watching him at Liverpool, I think it didn't stand out as much because Liverpool have a lot of other players in that position as well. But you know, he's a quality player, box to box, can defend, can attack. Is it an upgrade for PSG? I don't think so because they have quite a lot of players in that position as well.
Yeah.
Is it an upgrade for him? I think it is in terms of money, but you know, and age is catching up to him as well. I think he's already 30, if I'm not wrong. I don't know. I think he's going to be 30. Yeah. Does he still have the legs? Maybe. Will he be successful there? I think PSG is going to be successful with or without him. So I'll rate it a 5. I'll rate it a 5.
All right.
Yeah, it's not a signing that made me go, wow.
Yeah,
it's just,
that's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Mr. JB, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Wijnaldum, okay, you know, he's doing well right now for the country, everything. He's those kind of player where, yeah, you know, it happens. Okay, I mean, it's just I think it's better he go PSG than Barcelona if you ask me. Yeah, because as I mentioned earlier, Barcelona sometimes they treat certain players a bit strange. So yeah, I think with his age and everything else, yeah, I think.
But would would you guys consider a loss? Is it considered a loss for Barcelona side?
That they For me, I think it is. For me, I think it is because I feel if Wijnaldum had went to Barcelona, he could have easily replaced Busquets.
Yeah, exactly. I feel that he could easily just be a first 11 there. Because in PSG, we still have Marco Verratti there. Still have Adrian Rabiot over there. Quality midfield young players who are playing as well. So, Mr. JB, do you think it's a loss for them?
Yeah. I think definitely a loss. I mean, it's very obvious that when Barcelona offered him, they have something in their mind, you know, to fit in the system and all that. But I believe it's all about the money. So.
But you feel that Ronald Koeman kind of feel betrayed a bit by his fellow Oranje that he chose.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But again, I mean, yeah, for sure. But I guess, luckily for now, you won't be seeing Koeman anytime soon. Yeah.
Maybe in the Champions League. Who knows? All right. Good. Moving on to the. Sorry, Mr. JB. What was your rating for Wijnaldum? Sorry.
I'll give a 6. Yeah.
6. All right. Ken. All right, last 2 players. We're gonna go. Next up, we're going to the EPL side, and that is Liverpool making their first major signing in the defense. Ibrahimo Konati from RB Leipzig, joining to Liverpool. He played alongside Dayo Upamecano, which is also another player who's leaving to Bayern Munich. Of course, this is pretty much a reply or an answer to replace Van Dijk's injuries issues. So, Mr. JB, what do you think about Ibrahimo Konati joining from RB Leipzig to Liverpool?
Well, I think it's
about 45 million signing, which is a pretty high price for a defender.
Yeah. I mean, surprisingly high. Yes, I believe, a player of his age. I think he's only 20, 21, 22, around thereabouts.
Yeah, he's 24.
Yeah, so I mean, come on, I mean, that has to be one of the best signing, I must say. I've seen him.
Best signing. You're
Not
calling it
not
already.
yeah, one of them. Yes, I mean, I've not seen much of Leipzig's matches, so I couldn't really see how he played. But from what I see, I think he will turn out to be one of the best defenders in the Premier League. So I think yeah, a very very top signing for Liverpool, especially in the back four with what happened in the recent season that just ended. They really really need to solidify their defense. Someone to partner up with Van Dijk. So yeah, I think spot on, spot on. I give this an 8 out of 10 sign. Perfect.
8 out of 10. Yeah. All right. Harnazi, what do
I'm
you
very
think?
huge attention.
For me, I'll give the signing a 6. Why? Because no doubt he's a very good player playing beside Upamecano. I think he's a very good player, but Upamecano's name was much more bigger than his because of he was attracting all the attention elsewhere. But Konate was slowly building a name up for himself, and he did, and he earned his transfer to Liverpool.
Yep.
But do I think we don't know yet because we haven't seen him on the pitch for Liverpool yet. But this will cause it will ruffle some feathers, I believe, for Liverpool because they already have Joe Gomez playing in center. When Joe Gomez was playing with Van Dijk as a central partnership, they were solid. Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk, they were great. And then not forgetting, they have also Joel Matip in that position.
Yep.
And now they add in, and if I'm not wrong, in the off season or during the mid transfer window, they bought in one player as well. I forget what's the name.
They
and
did loan a Schalke player, Ozan Kabak. And also, but I'm not sure whether they're gonna extend his loan or make it permanent.
And
they signed one English defender. I can't remember the name.
And now they brought in Konate, so they have an abundance of choice for central defense. They have an abundance of choice for central defense, unless maybe Liverpool is looking to go into a back three next season. If they are going to go into a back three next season, and then it's going to cause a lot of teams problems for the upcoming campaign. Because if Liverpool can afford to go into a back three, that only shows their attacking prowess moving forward. So,
right. But it's a 6 out of 10 for you.
I'll give it a 6 because, it's not that high profile of a signing, I feel, because there are already players already in that position who's solid for me, but injury prone. We don't know whether Konate is injury prone or not, but will it benefit Konate? Yes and no, because I think unless he hit the ground running, he'll be in the team consistently. But if he does not, I think he's going to be a bench warmer for a bit. But yeah, I think 6 out of 10. If he goes to United, for sure he'll be a starter.
Wow.
For sure. For sure.
But I would love for him to come to Arsenal because personally, I feel this is a very good business.
Guaranteed.
I would say this is an 8 out of 10 for me because I've seen this Ibrahimo Konate before. He's been very solid next to Dayo Upamecano. Yes, of course, like what you say is true. Upamecano kind of gets the name more because of his physical presence of what you have. Konate is just one of those players where, it's kind of like the two defenders in Saint Etienne. People talk about Saliba, but his partner Fofana, which is decent as well, and Leicester signing. Look how good he was. So this could be one of those. Maybe Upamecano is good, but Konate might be the one that we overlook. That's what Fofana is in Leicester now. But I feel this is a very good signing. It's 8 out of 10 for me. Of course, they wouldn't want to go back to Jordan Henderson playing at centre back and all that, or Milner going back. So I think this is a good signing. It's a very good signing, I feel. All right, moving on to the final transfer before we wrap this up, which is also another free signing by a La Liga team, and that's David Alaba from Bayern Munich to Real Madrid. Now, David Alaba, I think, is Mr. JB's favorite, one of his favorite players. I'll let Mr. JB go first again for this. Mr. JB, what do you think? Is it a quality signing for Real Madrid to sign David Alaba, who is currently 28 years old, for free? What do you think?
Well, Yes, a very, very good signing for Madrid. Quality player, one of my favorite defenders around. Yes, his age, reaching its peak, trying to like his age is like already peak and then might be slowing down. But a perfect move going to Real Madrid. I think a very, very good move for him, a good move for the club, and further reinforced with the fact that Ramos is also leaving Madrid.
Yep.
Yep. So this move is match made in heaven basically for him. He will fit in well. He's a leader, as you can see in the recent Euro. He tried to cover the dude's mouth for trying to celebrate and saying something wrong, and end up the player got fined.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alaba, he has his qualities and everything. I'm not sure how he's gonna perform in La Liga, but
He's
I
been in
think
Bundes for very long, so this is the first time.
exactly. Yeah, that's right. So he's been comfortable for so long, and then now he's going to another league finally. But I feel give him time, and I think he will prove his worth. A very, very good player to me. Good signing. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 for
9
Madrid
out of 10. Wow.
and for himself. Yeah.
All right. Aaron Nazir, would you agree with that? Is it a 9 out of 10? Is it a coup for Real Madrid?
Okay.
For
For me, I'll be very honest with my views. For Alaba, the player, it's a 10 out of 10 because he's leaving Bayern. For Real Madrid, the Galacticos. It's a step up. No matter what people want to say, Bayern is a championship club. Real Madrid is a championship club. But when you step up from Bayern to leave and go to Real Madrid, which is a household name in world football, the Galacticos, obviously it's a step up for Alaba, and I believe it's his dream for sure, to be in the capital of Spain, to be in Madrid. For the club, I give it a 6 out of 10. Why? If Real Madrid signs him up to play as central defender, I believe there are other strong central defenders in the market. Martin Skriniar, Slovakian.
Yep.
Ramagioli, AC Milan.
Yeah.
Who else? I've already named 2 players whom I think are positionally better than Alaba in central defense. If Madrid bought him to play as a left back, they already have Marcelo, and they have another player, I forget what's his name. They already have Ferland Mendy.
Yep.
Right? So they already have players there as well. So, I feel it's a free transfer. I think it's beneficial to both players and club. I think Florentino Perez went something like, we can get him for free. Why not? Additional coverage for central player. Let's bring him in. It's a win-win situation for both. So it is what it is. But again, leaning to the player, good move for him. He realizes his dreams after being successful in Bayern. So all the best to him. My hope for Alaba is he step up his game, and now people know him as the central player or the central defensive player that everyone is going to talk about. Along the likes of Chiellini, Bonucci, Maldini. I want a step up for Alaba now is to be in those rank of players. Not just a Real Madrid player, but within that, when people say Alaba, it's among those great names. Let's not forget, he was one, correct me if I'm wrong, he was once the poster boy for FIFA, right? The game.
He was.
Yeah. So I think his time is now. Go on, man.
Yeah. But just to touch a little bit more, would you guys consider this might be a big shoe to fill? Because we're talking about Real Madrid here, and like what you said, this Marcelo, who is pretty much recognizable left back in the world, he cement his name there, and Marcelo did, I would say, somewhat live up to the hype of left back in Real Madrid, which is before him, and that is Roberto Carlos. So do you think Alaba will kind of follow suit to be the next, most recognizable strong left back in Real Madrid? Like, do you guys feel that he's gonna get a recognition there, as per how Marcelo and Roberto Carlos did?
Then again, I think I'll go first. Then again, it goes to be seen what are they signing up? What are they signing him for? To play as a central defender or to play as a left defender?
Yeah.
They haven't. Have they announced Real Madrid? Who's the new manager? Have they announced anyone yet? Not yet, right? Oh, they've not announced any manager yet, right?
Yet.
See, we don't even know who their manager is going to be, but it goes to show that it's not the manager who's signing the players; it's the boss.
He's the
So
boss, yeah.
so we don't know where he's going to play.
Although this signing has been agreed before Zidane
Yeah.
left, verbal agreement
Yeah.
has been made before Zidane left, and then now
Yeah.
he joins, but Zidane has officially left. But now,
Yeah.
how the manager is going to use him, which is a big question now, right, by everyone. But Mr.
True.
J, would you think that it's a big shoe to fill for him to replace in a left back? But if he were to play a centre back, do you think he can cover up where Sergio Ramos is? Oh wait, I believe it's Carlo Ancelotti who is a manager of Real Madrid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Carlo Ancelotti is a manager of Real Madrid now. Yeah, so we're not too sure how exactly he might gonna use Alaba, but he's a quality signing. It's still free.
Yeah.
I think for me, I will give it a definite 8 out of 10. It is free. I don't see why not. He's still 28. There's still some legs and years ahead of him. I'm still a bit surprised about Bayern letting him go. Maybe because they really try to focus on Alfonso Davies. But yeah, Mr. JB, what do you think? Is David Alaba's having big shoes to fill in the left back over Marcelo or center back over Sergio Ramos? Do you think he can make it there?
Yes, easy. He'll fit in very, very easily over there. Marcelo, I believe, I don't know, this is just my own view. So yeah, whatever. But Marcelo seems to be well used already. I think he's already picked. Not sure if he can offer the same as Alaba. So again, interesting times. But I agree with Harun Nazri Hanafi. It depends on how the manager decide to use him, and and see where we'll go from there.
All right, Ken. All right. With that being said, again, we have come to the end of the Football Focus SG Episode 6 podcast. Thank you guys so much, Harun Nazri Hanafi and Mr. JB, for joining us. Of course, at the end, we try to give any question of the day. And that question of the day for you guys and the viewers at home will be, which player is the best signing ever in the Premier League? I just want to ask in terms of Premier Leagues, like I'm sure a lot of people have debates like Cristiano Ronaldo is the best signing for Man United in the Premier League history. Is Sergio Aguero is the best signing in Premier League history? Is Thierry Henry is the best signing in the history? You know, who is your best signings that you can remember that when you see the news, it's like this is the best signing ever in the Premier League? Because basically we do have a lot of Premier League fans here. So, Harun Nazri, based on your years that you have grown up watching EPL, which club is the best signing that has ever occurred to you?
Best signing that made me go wow.
Yeah.
Best signing. Okay, I'll give you a good one.
Yeah.
Best signing, but never live up to expectations.
And that is
Paul Pogba.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
When United signed him up, I was like, wow, this is great. It's going to elevate United to a whole different level, commercial-wise, football-wise.
Yeah.
4 seasons down the road or 5 seasons down the road.
Yeah, it's
Nothing.
a little bit quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Mr. JB, who has been the most amazing signing that you have come across ever? It will be better if it's Premier League because I know there's a lot of leagues around. But if you do want to share a bit, do share with us.
Wow. Okay. I actually have a few in mind. You know, when you ask the question of the day, my mind was racing. There's so many players of so many generations. Although the Premier League is only from '92, but for me personally, I think I'll give this 2 or 3 like a close one.
Yeah, sure.
Probably Eric Cantona from Leeds to United. I think that one is a pretty interesting move. That'll be my number 3 most important one. And of course, the top 2 or perhaps the joint 2 is Eden Hazard, Liverpool to Chelsea. I think that one really, really surprised me.
The best signing of all time.
He will offer a lot. Yeah, one of the, but I think the best signing of all time, I think, is Mo Salah to Liverpool. I think without him, I don't think Liverpool could be even near where they are right now. Yes, there are other players involved. Yeah, I know this guy. But remember, he was in the Premier League before for Chelsea.
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
But
That's true.
just like Lukaku and who's that one more? Kevin De Bruyne was from
Yeah.
Chelsea too.
Yeah.
So for me, it's crazy to think, but hands down, I feel the joint top two best signing will be either Mo Salah or Eden Hazard. These two, yeah, at the top of my head, yeah.
Wow. All
And
right.
Eric Cantona closed it. Yep.
Yeah, Cantona's a close one, which is good as well. Yeah. For
Guys,
me,
let me guess yours.
yeah.
You're gonna say Thierry Henry.
For Arsenal transfer history, Thierry Henry is the best. But if you talk about Premier League alone, not gonna lie, this one transfer baffles me so much that why no other club tries to sign him. David Silva to Man City. I feel that signing cements David Silva in a modern football over how quality of a midfield we have in the Premier League. Because we're talking about back in the day, like we compare Scholes compared to Lampard, compared to Gerrard, compared to all these great midfield. But David Silva carries himself. When he joined Man City, it was a Man City, well, they kind of just pumping in money, just starting out new, and he elevated it together with Yaya Toure at the point of time. David Silva has been pretty much one of the most underrated signings. I feel Kante is a very good signing in the Premier League. Ever since he joined in the Premier League, he won the league with Leicester, he won the league with Chelsea. He took it by the storm. I feel that's one of the most quality signing as well. Yeah, I think those two are my picks. Kevin De Bruyne is a very good shout because he was from Chelsea and then picked up by Man City again, and then the rest is history. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining us in this podcast. Do press like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below whether you agree with us about what's next for Singapore. How about Christian Eriksen's situation and our transfers situations? Share with us your thoughts. Happy Father's Day to you guys. Happy Father's Day to everyone. And hope you guys.
Happy Father's Day to Al Nasri. Yeah.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to Harun Nazri, who is a father as well of two amazing dad as well. Do check out G Football as well. Links will be in the description. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.